So hopefully you've watched my previous videos explaining what a diastasis is, how we can measure for a diastasis. The following exercises are just some simple exercises which can be useful to help generate that tension in the linea alba and help to start recruiting the deepest layer of our muscle, which is the transverse abdominal muscle. These exercises are perfectly safe to do once you feel that everything is healing, you're feeling comfortable to start exercising, but if in doubt, just make sure that you speak to your healthcare professional. So we can start by doing the exercises in a lying position. So you can lie yourself down, so you can do this obviously on the bed, on the floor, wherever you're comfortable. So you want to just make sure that your ankles, knees and hips are in good alignment, okay? Feel free to use a little towel or a pillow if you wish to support the head. And what's really important here is that to begin with, we're just checking in with the alignment. So just making sure that those ribs aren't flaring out. A common effect of being pregnant is that we get this rib flare. So just have a go, first of all, just aligning the pelvis and the rib cage. So you might wish to just squish the lower back into the floor and then relax it, and then just try and find that neutral spine position. And what we're working here is the activation of the deeper core muscles, those transverse abdominal muscles. So the breathing is a really important part. So we're going to take a breath in through the nose, and as we're breathing out through the mouth, we're going to breathe out through pursed lips or breathing out as if we're blowing through a little straw, so that type action. Sometimes it's helpful to keep your hands on the lower abdomen, so if you find the bony bits of your pelvis, walk them in 1 centimetre or 2 and keep your fingers there so you can keep an eye on exactly what you're doing. So shoulders and neck are nice and relaxed. We're going to take that breath in to prepare, in through the nose. And as we're breathing out, we're going to exhale through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And as we inhale, we're breathing down into that lower part of the lungs, so nice diaphragmatic breathing. And as we exhale, we might feel that little bit of tension being generated into the lower abdominal area. Okay, and we'll just do one more. So inhaling, exhaling. And again, it's good to repeat that up to 10 repetitions. We can also do this exercise in a different position. So this time, we're going to come into a hand and knee position. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And again, sometimes it can be good to just do a little cat-cow stretch to loosen up the spine around that area, or we can keep the back in that nice neutral position. And again, we're breathing into the sides and back of the rib cage, inhaling through the nose. And as we exhale, we blow out through pursed lips, and imagine we're drawing our tummy muscle up and inwards, and then relaxing in between. So we inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, gently drawing those lower abdominal muscles, and then relax. And the idea is you will feel your abdominal muscles just very, very low level, gentle tighten. What we shouldn't be doing on the exhale is a and bracing and squeeze and everything, because quite often it's not helpful for our breathing mechanics, but also instead of helping to recruit the pelvic floor, we can be bracing and over tightening it. And a tight pelvic floor can be just as problematic as a weaker pelvic floor. So that's just something to bear in mind. And as well as doing it in those two positions, you can simply do it in a seated position or standing. So again, thinking about making sure we've got that good neutral spine position. We want to make sure as we inhale, we get that nice rib cage expansion. And as we exhale, it's just that nice subtle drawing in sensation in the lower abdominal area as well. And again, you can experiment. Some women prefer to do it in the different positions. Sometimes it's good to do a little bit in each position so that we're training those muscles against gravity. And so that's to work the transverse abdominal muscles. Naturally, when we work the transverse abdominal muscle, you probably will get a little bit of recruitment of your pelvic floor muscles, but also it's really important that you practice your pelvic floor muscle in isolation as well. Many of my colleagues and friends who are specialist pelvic health physios always advise that, and by no means am I an expert in pelvic floor physiotherapy, but I would normally teach my patients or clients that it's really important to practice them regularly. So ideally with your pelvic floor muscles, you need to be exercising them quite a few times a day, so up to 6 or 7 times a day if you can, which sounds like a lot, but if you break it up through the day, then it can be quite manageable. And with the pelvic floor, it's important that you are practicing both types of muscle fibre. So it's good to do a 10-second hold for 10 times and then 10 quick contractions, but making sure that you relax in between each contraction. So again, you get in that contraction, but that full relaxation. Now, to hold your pelvic floor for 10 seconds might feel a little bit too much to begin with. So it might be that you start with a 5-second hold for 5 times and you build on that as you're able to. And with your pelvic floor, it's one of those exercises where it's not like doing a bicep curl. No one should be able to see that you're doing it. So it's really important, again, you can pick one of those options to lie down with the knees bent, to be sat up, 4-point kneeling, whatever works for you, even just standing. Jaw, neck, shoulder area should be nice and relaxed so that we're not squeezing. Buttocks, thighs, again, shouldn't be over recruiting and squeezing. And the idea, if you imagine yourself stopping yourself from passing wind, so you're squeezing the back passage, and then that zipping up sensation up to the lower abdominal area. So in the field of pelvic health, I know they refer to it as a wink and a zip, which I think is a nice little way to think about it. But yeah, definitely think about squeezing around the back passage first, and then that zipping up sensation to the front passage, the lower abdominal area, and trying to hold on to that sensation. You should still feel like you're able to breathe as well. So yeah, it can be tricky to get the hang of, but again, I can't reinforce enough that practicing your pelvic floor muscles in isolation is really important to make sure that we're getting the whole core system fully functional. And if in doubt, like I said previously, if you're not sure about your pelvic floor, if you're doing it right, it's always best to seek professional help. And again, your GP can refer you to a pelvic health physiotherapist, or there's loads of great private pelvic health physiotherapists as well that you can seek advice from. And just below this video, I'm going to make sure I put lots of little links to other professionals about diastasis and pelvic floor issues, and if you go on their sites, they've got loads of great videos as well so that you can get a bit more information. And yeah, hopefully this has all been useful. Let me know what you think, and yeah, enjoy.